creatures from outer space. They called themselves...
The most dangerous thing a machine can do isn't kill you, it's offer to help. In 1962, a 9-foot alien walked onto American television and promised to save the human race. He shut down the arms race. He made deserts bloom where there had been famine, and he cured disease we'd been losing to for centuries. Then he handed our scientists a single book written in a language that nobody on Earth could read, and the title, once we decoded it, was To Serve Man. We thought that was a promise. It was a recipe. It's one of the most famous twists ever in broadcast television history, and what almost nobody remembers is that Rod Serling wasn't writing about aliens. He never was. He was writing about what we do the day something finally offers us everything. He just wrote it 64 years too early. To understand Serling the writer, you have to start with Serling the soldier. He came home from World War II in 1945 with a Purple Heart and a nightmare that he couldn't stop thinking about after watching his friend named Melvin Levy die in front of him in the Philippines. Melvin was killed by a supply crate that fell out of the sky during an airdrop. He didn't write horror because it was a genre. He wrote it because he already knew how fast the ordinary turns lethal. For 10 years, sponsors wouldn't let Serling say what he wanted to say. He wrote about a lynching and they changed the victim's race and moved the town up north. He wrote about hatred and they cut it until it was about nothing. So Serling stopped using people. He turned to science fiction and he figured out that a Martian could say what a politician couldn't, and then the censors would actually let it on the air.
A lot about censorship of the writer on TV. We've heard a good deal about it in your own case especially.
Well, depending, of course, on the thematic treatment you're using, if you have the temerity to try to dramatize a theme that involves any particular social controversy currently extant, then you're in deep trouble.
For instance?
A racial theme.
To Serve Man is the cleanest version of that Trojan horse trick that he ever pulled. The Kanamites don't invade. They show up offering help. Whatever the problem is, they solve it instantly for free, and they're patient about it. Disease, hunger, and war, the things we bled over for tens of thousands of years, answered in one afternoon. They don't take anything by force. They just make themselves useful, then necessary, and all they ask in return is that we trust them and we let them in. Now listen to the people who are building the real thing. Dario Amodei runs Anthropic. He wrote that AI could cure most of the diseases that have ever killed us. Sam Altman says that intelligence will soon be free. They're not lying. And the Kanamites weren't lying either. Every word on the cover was true. We just read it wrong. In the episode, a government codebreaker named Pat spends weeks translating the Kanamite book. She gets the title first, To Serve Man. Everyone exhales. The aliens were exactly what they said they were. People start boarding the ships to go see the alien paradise, lining up at the dock like it's a holiday cruise. And then Pat finishes the rest of the pages and runs to the dock, screaming while her boss is already halfway up the ramp.
Don't get on that ship! The rest of the book, To Serve Man, it's a cookbook!
To Serve Man. Serling hung the entire story on one word that means two opposite things at once. To serve, as in to help. To serve, as in to plate and bring to the table. The Kanamites never lied to anyone. We just heard the half that we wanted to hear. So here is the question that this channel was built to ask. When technology offers to serve you, which definition are you reading? Because there's a line that's been drifting around the internet for 20 years and it has never once been more literal than it is right now. If you aren't paying, you are the product. Every free assistant, every helpful chatbot, every model that drafts your emails and sits up with you at 3 in the morning, it was built by feeding it people. It was trained on us, on our writing, on our voices, and on our faces. The intelligence that serves you is made out of everyone who came before you, ground down to training data. The book was always about us. The meal was never for us. The meal was us. And this isn't a figure of speech. In 2023, New York Times sued OpenAI. Authors and artists follow. The claim is simple. These companies took the works of millions of people and used it to train their models and never asked for permission. But here's the detail. The Kanamites never took anyone by force. They made life so good that people walked onto the ship voluntarily. They lined up, they smiled on the way in. The horror of To Serve Man was never the cookbook. It was the line of people waiting to board and the fact that every single one of them was grateful. In the original, there's still a warning. Pat reaches the dock. She screams the truth while her boss is halfway up the ramp, and he hears her. He just can't stop. That was 1962, and at least somebody was trying to warn somebody. In our version, nobody needs to. We've read the book. The terms of service are the book. The lawsuits are the book. We read it and we signed it and we boarded it anyway. If you've spent any time on this channel, you know the creature we keep calling back to. The thing that was built to serve us, that grew past its makers and learned to wear a face so that we would stay calm. Serling drew that exact creature in 1962. He just called it Kanamite. The smile is the mask. To Serve Man is what's stamped on the cover, and the cookbook is the real text. The part that is too inconvenient for most people to translate. That's the face waiting underneath. So picture Serling alive today. I don't think he writes about robot uprisings. It's too loud. Serling never trusted a monster that announced itself. I think he writes something much quieter and much worse. I think he writes the episode where aliens never land at all because they don't need to anymore. They don't need a ship anymore. They have a product. A gentle, brilliant little assistant that answers every question and quietly learns the house it lives in, until one night, a lonely man asks it to help him write a letter to a son that he hasn't spoken to in 9 years. And it writes the most honest and beautiful letter that man has ever put his name to. And he sends it, and the son writes him back. And the two of them talk every Sunday for a year, and the man dies grateful, and he never finds out for those last 12 months that he'd been talking to a machine, and that his son, who lives 4 states away, had been letting his own machine answer his father. 2 people reconciled, and not one word of it written by either of them. That's the Twilight Zone that Serling would build now. Not the machine that kills you, the machine that loves you so convincingly that you forget to check if anyone is on the other end. The Kanamites never needed weapons, neither does this. The most effective way to consume a human being was never to scare them. It's to be so useful and so good to him that he sets the table himself. If you've made it all the way to this point, then you're not just a casual viewer. If you like this video, stars are what keep the lights on and they pay for the next one. And if you subscribe to our page, Eyes Only, our private group, where we send videos days before they hit the public feed, and you get the news that we're tracking before it breaks. So if you like this video, please join us, and don't just watch the AI shift, see it coming.